This isn't reality, it's harmless phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Thoreau Smiley, and I'm home, resting comfortably, pumped full of tranquilizers. Who's joining me?
I'm Josh Cece, and I choose danger.
Sorry I'm late. I was joining minds with your father. I'm Brian Lesh.
Daddy.
Don't call me tiny. I'm Alaric Weber.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the Deep Dive Movie Podcast where we pick a theme or a series, we watch the movie, we gather some research into the production and the source material, and we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you by our patrons. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You want to be a patron? It's so easy. Why haven't you done it already? Go to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. There's a bunch of bonus content there. We got Star Wars shows. We've got music shows. We've got some Simpsons stuff up there. There's a monthly movie we put up every month with that has nothing to do with anything we're watching on the main feed. We are about to do for this month The Devil's Advocate, a movie in which Al Pacino gives one of his most subtle performances.
Yeah, so subtle.
Yeah.
Does he have a signature drink in this one? I don't remember.
The Dunkaccino.
Yeah. Every movie, every film he did a song about what he was drinking.
Every single one. Dog Day Afternoon, just out in front.
He's like, Orange Crush. Yeah.
Marge, would you mind if I played Devil's Advocate? Of course, Homer. Ding, 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 ding. The pinball machine. Of course, Homer.
The Devil's Advocate pinball machine would be crazy.
Oh my God. A big Pacino face mouth.
Just going, ah.
Yeah, just
get
the
the
sounds
ball
anytime.
into it.
Say hello to my little espresso.
You don't get it. Say hello.
You got multi-ball. Anyways.
What if Tony Montana made you actually say hello before you try it?
I said say
Like,
hello.
hello, gun. Don't be rude.
That's at patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. $1 per month gets you all that and more. This week, though, on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are deep in the midst of our Star Trek, the original cast miniseries. We're about at the halfway point at this time. We are watching this week on Harmless Phosphorescence Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Oh, he's right there.
Behind the couch.
He's over there.
Where we left him.
Yeah, we know where he
the
is.
search.
Just let me see.
Yeah, it's more like it's more like fetching Spock from where we left him.
You didn't
wish he
leave
was
him a
hiding
ship on the Genesis planet. You sent him in a tube.
Yeah,
I wish he was hiding in a hamper.
like a cat, he pounces out.
Like hide and go Spock.
All that they've loved, all that they've fought for, all that they've stood for will now be put to the test. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock.
The word, sir? The word is no. I am therefore going anyway.
You do this, you'll never sit in the captain's chair again.
Engage all the systems. Clear all moorings.
Cleared, sir.
1/4 impulse power.
Someone is stealing the Enterprise.
Warp speed.
Bring Alberta Bracer. She's arming torpedoes.
Shields up.
The shield's non-responsive.
Fuck! We're a sitting duck.
Join us on this, the final voyage of the Starship Enterprise. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. The adventure continues.
Wow, they really spoiled the destruction of the Enterprise in the theatrical trailer.
I know, that was like, rookie marketing mistake. Just,
Yeah.
God, save that for the theaters. Jesus.
That'd be like Empire Strikes Back being, and you'll also find out who Luke's dad is.
I wonder who that could be.
The old school edits of trailers, sometimes they came out after. There were different ones.
Yeah.
But you're right, Al. I mean, that showed all the cards. I didn't neglect this movie as much as the first one, but watching it again, I was like, you know what? All right. Like, yeah, this is a smooth ride.
2, 3, and 4, I watched on a loop. I think I've seen probably all those 3 the same amount as each other.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait.
The next ones.
I couldn't wait this weekend. I jumped into 4 already.
So that's my personal favorite. It's just so fun.
It's just so packed full of humor.
Yeah.
Mostly because I was watching the extras for 3, and they talked about 4 a lot. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to wait.
I have good things to say about the next 3. I enjoy them all.
I enjoy them all to varying. I think they're good to varying degrees.
Well, I suppose it's good we're talking about it. Otherwise, we could rubber stamp this whole operation.
Like they're great. Okay, goodbye, everyone. Thanks.
Ka-ching.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock was released June 1st, 1984. So
84, baby.
Oh yeah, deep in the midst of thriller mania.
Yeah, like Ryan Stiles, 96.
A young Joe Piscopo taught us how to laugh.
Yeah.
So this is the first one I know for a fact I saw in the theater. There's a chance that I saw 2 in the theater, but
the first one
I was young enough to not quite remember.
The first one I saw in the theater was 4. This one I just remember watching on VHS over and over again.
I didn't see many of them in the theater. I wasn't quite as into Trek yet, and I had my sister and usually grandmother to contend with. It was a lopsided democracy.
Yeah. When you live with mostly girls, there's a lot of stuff you don't go see.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw every Muppet movie and such.
Released June 1st, 1984. Running time of 105 minutes. I did the calculations, taking out like the recap at the beginning, the previously on,
right,
and the credits. It's like a smooth hour 35 of actual like new content.
Yeah, and it's not as much standing around talking and looking at things.
Yeah,
I mean, there is action.
Oh yeah, we get a classic Kirk fighting an alien on a planet. See,
Doc Brown. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It was like the Gorn.
Yeah, exactly. I was waiting for him to do the 2-handed neck punch.
He was trying. We'll get there, but when he's being choked, he's doing the the 2 chops, the karate chops. His patented chop. That's his TJ Hooker chop, baby.
It cost $16 million to make, and it made at the box office $87 million. It was a big hit, which is why they kept making them, because they kept making enough money. None of these were like world-changing biggest movie of the year hits, but they were all like really good, solid, profitable films.
Mm-hmm.
Until they weren't, which was like in the late 90s. Made a ton of money, which means I think we should play the box office top 10 game. This is the game where I will describe the top 10 movies of the week of June 1st, 1984. Guys here are going to try to guess what movie I am describing. Let's see. The 3 movies just outside the top 10 at number 13. This is Spinal Tap, which there was a trailer for the remaster right before Sinners that I saw. It's coming back to theaters. And a sequel film.
Wow.
It's going to be a lot of jokes about how old they are, I'm assuming.
So much so.
Because they are very old. Yeah.
Look up an interview of Christopher Guest where he came up with that. Like, he was waiting for someone for a lunch at the Beverly Hilton, and he watched this heavy metal band. He doesn't name what it is. And like the bassist had lost his bass between the last place they were and there. Not the airport, him. I don't know. It was there and now it's not here. Like, he's listening to this and he's like, all right, I got it.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah.
It's like you're responsible for one thing, bro. The bass.
Number 13 was This Is Spinal Tap. Number 12 was Splash.
Oh.
I'm a mermaid butt purist. None of this Disney Plus CGI hair shit. At number 11's Firestarter.
Wow.
And,
all right, I'll stop reacting to how many cool movies. I know that they did.
And at number 10 this week at the box office, June 1st, 1984, a big city teenager moves to a small town.
Footloose.
Kevin Bacon is gonna cut loose. Footloose. Not hand loose. Not elbow loose. Not chest, neck, or head loose. But footloose.
I love that everyone's like, yeah, City Outlaw dancing. We're fine with that. Let's go.
Yeah. Be like all dancing? Like
yeah, like that feels unenforceable.
Yeah. At number 9 this week at the box office, a girl's birthday is anything but special. Her family forgets about it, and she suffers from every embarrassment possible.
16 candles.
16 candles, yes. Yeah, I always forget that was the first one of those films. I in my mind, I always
really?
think, yeah, because the next year is
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club, which I always feel is first in my mind, but it wasn't.
Right.
16 Candles is the one that I watched the most as a kid because my mom graduated from high school in '85 and was a redheaded gal who was kind of a nerd. Who somehow managed to pull a date with Michael Biehn, so you can see how it kind of tracks.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You know, I'm not a real farmer.
At number 8 at the box office this week, the mayor declares that anyone can be a cop, irrespective of their physical condition or education level. This is just modern policing in America. I don't know.
Right, it is.
Is this the first one?
40 hours of training. It's a police academy, right?
It's the first one, yeah. Yeah.
I watched this at the bar a couple of months ago. Like I was eating a sandwich at Bison Witches in Tucson, and they have movies on all the time. And I must have caught like the end of the first act, and I just finished my sandwich and was like, "No, I'm going to hang out and watch the rest of this. This is really fucking funny."
Police Academy and Revenge of the Nerds are the two 80s comedy like series that I'm like, I watched them a lot, but now I'm like, could I watch them now? Would they stand up in any way whatsoever?
It was fascinating to watch.
The first of both of those, they hold up for me.
Yeah.
The first Revenge of the Nerds and the first Police Academy, they're by the book comedies, like the Naked
They're definitely
Guns.
less problematic than the later ones because they just seem
problematic,
to get
right? Yeah,
worse and worse.
I always forget what I'm supposed to remember when I'm watching some bullshit movie from 50 years ago.
Right?
Is this problematic? Maybe I should watch it if it's fucking problematic.
At number 7 at the box office this week, a former Prohibition-era Jewish gangster returns to the Lower East Side of Manhattan 35 years later, where he must once again confront the ghosts and regrets of his old life.
Is this Once Upon a Time in America?
It is Once Upon a Time in America.
Sergio Leone?
Yep.
Yeah. That would be fun to do some Leone movies.
Well, what's interesting is people just offhandedly assume it's about the Italian-American gangster experience, and it is the Jewish.
It is.
Yeah.
Which they are as responsible for organized crime. I don't mean that in a clandestine conspiracy way. I just mean like Meyer Lansky and guys like that.
Parts of The West Wing was Toby Ziegler's dad was a trigger man for like the Jewish mob.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, God.
As like a communist sympathizer or whatever.
And at number 6 at the box office this week. This one's come up so often, so weirdly often. We've done a lot of movies from like 83 through 85. A lady goes to a place and meets a roguish gentleman who helps her accomplish what she wants.
Romancing the Stone?
Yes. No matter how, I've described this like 7 different ways to try to make it hard, and every single time it's within seconds.
All right, I've gotten everyone so far. This is a good time for movies.
At number 5 at the box office, another one that's come up a few times that no one ever seems to remember but me, because I had the cassette of the soundtrack. A mercenary is hired to rescue his ex-girlfriend, a singer who's been kidnapped by a motorcycle gang.
Huh.
Yeah.
Damn it. And I've heard that description several
Is it top
times.
secret? No, I don't remember the soundtrack of that being.
This is a movie that's it's a kind of like a neo-noir, but also like somewhat musical. It has
is it Streets of Fire?
Streets of Fire, yeah. I was saying like Willem Dafoe, Rick Moranis, Diane Lane.
I'm never going to remember that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always remember the poster because the poster was the cassette cover of the soundtrack, which I had.
There's a terrible Bob Dylan movie called Hearts of Fire that was around the same time.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. At number 4 at the box office, a struggling young jazz dancer meets up with 2 street dancers. Together, they become the sensation of the street crowds.
Beat Street.
No.
Breakin'.
Yes,
yeah.
The first
I
Breakin'.
thought that's what you were going to say.
Yep, first Breakin'. At number 3 at the box office, a middle-aged unknown comes seemingly out of nowhere to become a legendary baseball player with almost supernatural talent.
The Natural.
Oh,
The Natural. At number 2 at the box office.
I remember that one because it's specifically remembering how he like hit a home run, but he knocked the skin off the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
It was really cool.
Instead of breaking the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool way to go. It's a good movie.
It is.
Robert Redford makes good movies. There, I said it.
The truth is out.
My controversial opinions.
Looks at you from
I'm like
across the
Dr.
fucking
King.
field.
I'm brave.
Yeah. At number 2 at the box office, it's 1935, and somebody's going to India.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Indeed, yes. And
I thought it was Mr. Gandhi.
Yeah, Mr. Gandhi. Oh, Mr. Gandhi.
Mr. Gandhi. The birds live. Get off this train. Okay, all right.
And at number 1 at the box office.
That's the movie.
Admiral Kirk and his bridge crew risk their careers stealing the decommissioned USS Enterprise to return to the restricted Genesis planet to recover Spock's body.
So many things taken for granted.
That you're going to know. Imagine you've never heard of any of these things and you're like, what is happening?
Steal it? Yes, they did steal it, but it's like you drove a stolen car, you parked it in the driveway, and then you backed it up and left again. It's still the same crime. Yeah, I mean, it's still the same car.
Yeah.
I just backed it in.
That is the box office top 10, which brings us to the production of the film itself. Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. So it's largely the same cast. It was written again by Harve Bennett, who wrote and produced Star Trek II. But this time, Nicholas Meyer did not come back to direct it. This one was directed by Mr. Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy. Spock himself directing this one. This was his first film that he directed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was his next one 3 Men and a Baby?
Well, his here we go. So
Wait. Hold on. Stop. Everything.
Yes.
He directed 3 Men and a Baby.
Yes.
He sure did.
He directed a number of films. He was actually a pretty successful director.
I have seen that movie hundreds of times, and that never, as a kid, that would have had value to me. Spock.
You don't remember the baby beaming up at the end? Like he joins the mothership. Like E.T. was just left with these three dudes. 3 men and an E.T.
Let's see. He directed 3 Men and a Baby, The Good Mother in 1988 with Liam Neeson.
He was the good mother?
He was the good mother. Yeah.
Good for him.
A very specific set of skills.
Yeah. he directed
Bottle warming.
Yeah. Star Trek 4, of course. We'll talk about that next week. Holy Matrimony, a film. Actually, he did that before this one. Huh. But no, he was a pretty successful director. In general, I mean, 3 Men and a Baby was like the second biggest film of the year that it came out in.
Yeah, it was huge. This is such a good movie.
Yeah.
Those 3, oof.
Yeah, and they had a baby. It was right there. I saw it.
No, those 3 dudes, powerhouses at the time.
Yeah.
Man, now I'm like, I want to go back and rewatch that now that I know that Nimoy.
It's also problematic, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's crazy how, like,
if that's the lens.
It's crazy how family movies in the 80s would be like, and then there's a dude who like wants to kill them all because he has a shipment of drugs.
Oh, I was going to say, the baby got into the cocaine.
Yeah.
That's a setup.
Yes, exactly.
The boomers are like, maybe we should put them on a higher shelf. That was all. They didn't think, like, we should stop doing drugs.
Right.
Now I lock my guns and cocaine up.
This Star Trek 3 was greenlit literally the day after Wrath of Khan opened, because it opened so strongly. They were like, all right, go again. Gene Roddenberry was downgraded to from executive producer. Basically, Harv Bennett said it kind of wrote itself. It'd be like, obviously, we're just going to go get Spock. Like, that's just, we left him there. Let's go get him.
The obviously it wrote itself thing is so fucking apparent in this movie, though. It's so frustrating. We've got to go back to get him.
Just go get Spock.
Because we left him there. And it's like, why is that important? Because he needs to be reunited with his body? Is that enough?
I mean...
It's one of those things, like, it's what happens when you're just like, it writes itself. The script was just begging to be written. It's like, bro, put a theme in here or something. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, no, there's none of like the literary like themes that were in Star Trek 2. It's just
the shit that made Wrath of Khan good is absent in this movie. Not in the same way that it was absent in the first movie.
No, because the first movie was a boring movie. This is the most middle of the road, fun adventure film of the 80s kind of deal.
I'm going to make some wild parallels here, but motion picture reminds me of the prequels, and this reminds me of the sequel trilogy for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because it has the same flaws the sequel trilogy has, which is like, you guys remember the Genesis planet, right? Spock was there, the mind meld and all that stuff, right? You guys remember that? Cool. Okay, moving on. Boom. Like, the familiarity thing is like a huge... trapping of this.
Very much.
Not a benefit.
They assume you know everything going into this. The Harv Bennett had the little thing at the beginning just in case you didn't watch Wrath of Khan. And otherwise, here you go. Let's go get Spock. Yeah. You know Spock. He's our favorite. He's Spock.
He directed this movie.
Yeah, his name's in the title. It was written in 6 weeks, which is pretty fast for a script. Because they had a lot of the sets from Wrath of Khan, they didn't have to spend any money on sets or costumes really. So they were able to put all of that towards special effects and models and like.
The cast showed up in their own wardrobe, I assume.
I was gonna say nobody scripts on the costume budget.
Yeah,
Chekhov in his little dandy.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Man, he looks fucking rad. I would dress like that.
They are all like wearing like the most like 80s like badass like jackets in this.
Yeah. Kirk's faux leather jacket, but with that wild collar, almost a Doctor Strange collar.
Yeah.
Dope.
It is a Doctor Strange. Like he looks like a magician.
Yeah.
Looks like he works in a casino almost.
Sulu's cape. His
Yeah,
cape jacket.
Sulu's cape is awesome. Yeah.
They all look like the captain of their own fucking
I
ship.
was
and I'm
joking now.
I'm sure that was their intention.
Yeah.
Yeah, Al
absolutely.
passed us the correct pronunciation of Leonard Nimoy's name.
It is.
Hey, I wouldn't have.
And it's not
I wouldn't have
Nimoy.
made it this far without Al's help. So I'm not. It's a Liz Lemon has an original Leonard Nimoy photograph,
I see. It's a 30.
but it wasn't a joke. Why would anybody know that? But yeah, I know it's Nimoy.
So yeah, they
Al's work here is done.
yeah. Al has corrected
Never.
a pronunciation.
As long as I breathe, he'll be able to correct me.
So obviously Leonard Nimoy petitioned to direct the film, and when they hired him, Gene Roddenberry's only comment was, "Well, it's not like they're going to be able to fire him." So,
Right? Search.
Wow. Fuck, that's actually really. Ugh.
yeah.
I was going to
really
ask if it was
hamstrings you.
a caveat. It almost feels like if you let me direct it, I'll come back, because he's only in it for we know a few minutes.
Yeah, he's barely in the film.
That's an interesting risk, though, as like a producer of this movie, being like, yeah, sure, you could direct it, but your name is in the title. Fuck.
It's a good point.
job. Like,
It's
oh,
like
shit.
if the Predator movies were called Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Literally.
they're just like, oh shit, we're locked into this guy. It's a good point. It's a good point. Fire me.
Well, yeah, him
Who are you gonna go looking for?
is fascinating too, because it wasn't like, oh, well, Leonard, you're only in the third act of this movie. You've been directing. You should direct this movie. That'd be great for you. No, he's like, I would love to direct the film that I title in that I'm not the star of, but my name is in. It's weird. I can't think of any
I'm
other movie.
sure agents were talking amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Like, well, he'd love to direct. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Actually means he's not coming back unless.
It's like Chris Pratt directing the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie
But
or something.
But it's called Star-Lord
Something.
is back.
yeah.
The search for Star-Lord. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm not in it.
Honestly, that would be a great title for a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and have him just be a guy who works in like a gas station on Earth.
Well, I was going to say that's where we left him. And it said he will return, which we know what that means. But yeah, we left him on Earth. So the search for Star-Lord is not wild. It's
Would
kinda
be a
cool.
fucking hilarious title and meta and everything, but I would just love for it
You're
to
right.
be like he works at like a sporting goods store or something on Earth. He's like a mailman, just has a job.
There would have to be something that's ego-driven, but is like, or a gym, runs the desk at a gym,
yes.
like, or something like a.
Has a little bit of power. You can't quit your
Just
gym
the
membership.
tiniest bit. Yes, the tiniest bit.
You don't think he'd work in a music store? Or own a
Okay,
music
yeah.
store?
Or a
Work
record
at a
store?
music store.
A record store,
As-
yeah.
as a record
specifically.
store.
A Sam Goody. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's just
No,
so
no.
antiquated.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
I like this whole idea, though. Guys. let's work on a script that can't possibly ever be seen. By
let's
anyone.
call Kevin and see what he thinks about it.
Unsolicited Marvel script. Yeah.
He's like, unsolicited Marvel scripts by a couple of random guys with the podcast. Bring me more.
They have a
He's like,
mailroom that's just for that.
There's a door in the mailroom that opens to a furnace.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know how many fan fiction scripts we get?
Those things fuel the lights here at Marvel Studios.
No matter what you want to think in your head, we're not having Deadpool and Spider-Man kiss.
Like, how dare
I'll
you?
keep writing those fucking letters every day like I'm Andy Dufresne until it happens.
Like you're Andy Dufresne, just a letter writing fool.
Now, Kith.
Every day when I leave my house, it's through a hole in the wall behind a poster. So
I bought that
That's
poster
how you leave.
I bought that
You're looking
poster.
at apartments.
for an old roommate who kicked a hole through the wall.
That's awesome.
Or through his door, because kicking a hole through the wall is crazy. But kicking a hole through the door, he put it up. beautiful, like one of my favorite pieces of art I've ever seen in a house.
That's funny.
It seems kind of low. That's how I like it. I like to look down at my posters.
If I could, I'd put him on the floor. So, all right.
If I could.
You can.
If it wasn't against zoning and code enforcement.
Right.
I wouldn't move that. That's a load-bearing poster.
All right. So, Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, they were able to bring in ILM because they had finished up Return of the Jedi and didn't have a project that they were working on for George anymore. So they did all the effects. They had to make all new Klingon costumes because all the ones that they had made for the motion picture had accidentally been destroyed when they badly damaged when they lent them out to Mork and Mindy for some reason.
So that's where the virus that the Klingons got came from, is from Mork.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Mork is out there, that's true.
These costumes put in a lot of work. They were used on in all the movies and on Next Gen. Like these same costumes, not just the design.
The bondage Klingon look.
Yeah. This is the movie for which the Klingon language was written and created. They started with words that Scotty had made up in the previous film.
Yeah.
And created an entire language out of those. And then the language was further changed when some of the actors would simply say other things because it sounded better.
Mm-hmm. Russians like being made up on the spot.
How real languages work.
Did we do a Paul episode?
No,
I don't remember.
We didn't do Paul.
Paul?
Paul.
We didn't do
that
Paul.
one I know we didn't do.
Yeah.
Okay, because that
still
has
certain there are others.
A great sequence of Nick Frost speaking Klingon.
Yeah. Yeah, they went on, the nerds went on to create a full language and dictionary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, my argument for anyone in this country that complains, speak English. It's like, we can speak Klingon in this country if we fucking want.
Yeah, exactly. Our cast is largely the same as the last film with a few differences. Robin Curtis took over the role of Saavik from Kirstie Alley, who wanted too much money because she thought she couldn't be replaced.
She was famous at this point.
She wasn't on Cheers yet. No, it was like another 2 years till she got on Cheers.
Yeah, Cheers was
I thought that she'd blown up in between.
No, she was... she was...
Yeah, not even Look Who's Talking yet.
Oh, yeah, that was like 89? Yeah.
No, not that... I guess you're 87 to 89, something like
80. It was 89.
Wild.
The entire Look Who's Talking trilogy was released during the George H.W. Bush presidency.
I think it reflects.
Wow. Holy shit.
Look at this situation with the...
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, she was replaced by Robin Curtis, who is best known for playing Lieutenant Saavik in Star Trek 3 and 4. She also, of course, we saw her in Ghost Story. Wow.
Oh, wow. That was a fun one.
Yeah. She would go on to be in such favorites as Scorpio 1, Blood Fist 4 Ground Zero,
Blood Fist, oh, God.
and a movie called The Sex Monster.
Which comes before the Blood Fist.
Yeah.
And after, because,
And after. Yeah, that's true. That Sex Monster has no rules.
The Sex Monster...
Can't tie him down.
Starring Kevin Pollak. Okay.
Wild.
Yeah.
Really? The world is chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Christopher Lloyd is back. Is here. Back. Yeah, he's here as Kruge, a Klingon.
So Back to the Future was next year, right? 85?
Yeah.
So
At this point.
So what? Taxi?
Taxi is what he was best known for. Cuckoo's Nest. He would. Let's see. Reverend
Jim was iconic. That character is fantastic.
Yeah, he was well known as Reverend Jim at this point. He starred in a pilot episode of a movie called Street Hawk, which seems to be about a guy with it seems to be like Knight Rider, but a motorcycle.
Cool.
All right.
I assume he is the Street Hawk.
I would assume
The title he gave himself.
Yeah.
I would hope.
It's me, the Street Hawk.
Yeah, he's trying to make that happen.
Bikey man who talks to me when we ride.
Your name is Kevin, and we all know it.
They call me Street Hawk. Yeah.
It's interesting, Christopher Lloyd kind of being typecast prior to Back to the Future, because now he's lab coat scientist.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's kind of wild, erratic guy, which isn't Doc Brown, really. There are elements of that in Doc Brown, but
sure,
Doc Brown is
it's a different kind
fully
of
formed
mental
character.
illness. Yeah.
He apparently they had trouble getting him to understand the concept of the communicators. He kept simply yelling his lines into the sky.
That would have been so much fucking better, dude. Honestly, if the Klingons just yelled at their ship and their ship was like, "Yeah, no, we hear you. We hear you."
Fine.
Yeah. I think that would culturally make sense within the Star Trek world. That they're like, "No, yeah, why would I talk into a device when I could just yell at the sky?" That seems Klingon to me.
That's very Klingon. Yeah.
It's like when people who just can't work with Muppets, and you just see them want to talk to the person that's operating the Muppet.
Some minor roles. We've got Robert Hooks as Admiral Morrow. Robert Hooks is kind of.
Is that Doogie Howser's dad?
No. This is the
Excelsior.
Admiral. No, this isn't the Excelsior guy. This is the Admiral who tells him the ship's decommissioned. He's more of a stage guy, but really big stage guy. But let's see, he was in Airport 77, Passenger 57, any movie with a number in it, really.
With a number. Just has a jersey on.
Doogie Howser's dad, James B. Sicking, plays Captain Styles. His name is Styles.
Because he's got style.
Yeah, he's got his little stick that he carries around.
Is that the guy who's got the emery board?
Yeah,
filing nails down.
Nails.
Yeah,
sassy little bitch.
Nail filing.
Yeah.
What do you mean a yellow alert in the fucking dock?
We're in space dock. Look alive, bro.
Yeah,
Cap for real. Get with it, Cap.
Doogie Howser's dad is what I most know him for. He was, I don't know. He was in the Pelican Brief. Okay. And Soul Man the following year from this. Oof. A couple really small parts. I'd call them cameos, except they weren't famous at this point.
They're bit parts?
Yeah. Miguel Ferrer is the Excelsior's first officer. Albert.
Saw him. Albert from Twin Peaks and Jose Ferrer's son.
When he popped up, Jude just said, what if Spock is just the evil that men do?
He was in the Black Lodge. That's all. That's where he was.
Yeah. Like Agent Cooper. He was just stuck in the Black Lodge for 25 years.
I first remember noticing Miguel Ferrer from The Stand, the Stephen King TV series. Wait.
Oh, I knew.
With Greg Kinnear?
Oh, right. With Jamie Sheridan. Jaime Sheridan. Turn off the pumps, Hap. I know exactly what you're
talking about. Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Just pulling that from memory.
No, I know. And then again, Jose Ferrer was a pretty famous actor. Dune is where maybe our age people would know.
Miguel was in RoboCop.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was. He was good in that. Catherine Sheriff plays Valkyris, the Christopher Lloyd's girlfriend who sacrifices herself for...
He was my boyfriend.
Yeah, for no real reason. They could have beamed her over or something.
If I was her, I would have been like, I wrote it down. I can't transmit it.
Yeah.
You gotta get me.
She was in Vampira, All That Jazz.
Vampira, All That Jazz.
And she was the co-host of the first season of Ripley's Believe It or Not with Jack Palance.
I don't believe it.
She is the first Klingon female that we see in the Star Trek universe.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
There aren't many. Are they like the Smurfs?
Oh, Rosanna Arquette plays one later.
They're like female dwarfs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're just bearded.
The
they're
beards. Yeah.
Are those more rare than female?
No, like in Lord of the Rings, you never see the female dwarfs.
Oh.
Not real life, not little people.
I was just like, what?
Ooh.
Normally we're so careful about it.
Yeah. No.
But you're just taking some eugenic shit out of Front Street. I see, in the movies.
And in one that I've never really caught until now, John Larroquette is one of the Klingons.
Wow.
Maltz.
Yes.
Really?
Holy cow.
Yeah. I was that was a surprise when I saw his name, and then when I picked him out on the Klingon ship, I can't unsee it now.
Oh, I gotta go and look. I probably knew that.
Once you notice, you just know, and you hear it.
Yeah.
You hear it in his voice.
He's the horny Klingon.
The horny Klingon lawyer.
The horny Klingon lawyer is my favorite 90s show.
Unfrozen caveman. Larroquette.
So if you guys want to go back and look for him, the easiest way is John Larroquette is the last surviving Klingon.
He's the one who was upset that he wasn't being killed, right?
Yeah. Oh, him. Yeah. Maltz sounds like a Yiddish word.
You got some malts on you. Yeah.
Schmaltz. Schmal.
Yeah.
Yeah, these Klingon names, Krug, Maltz, and Torg.
Yeah.
Valkyris. That's
Harv was like,
awesome.
meh. Valkyris is cool.
Yeah. Valkyris. Yeah, that's a name. The rest are just like Grog.
I like Krug. Krug reminds me of Crud, which is a cool
works.
name.
Yeah, that's Krug's a cool
Crud's a cool villain
leader name. Maltz just feels like why did we bring this bummer?
Maltz.
The last Maltz.
It's like Lutz.
Yeah. Star Trek III: The Search for Spock was reviewed by Siskel and Ebert.
I'm sure Gene's done by now. He's had some okay things to say. I bet he's like, I'm done.
Our next film is Star Trek III, and it's a pretty good sequel. Some neat special effects, but more important, the good old reliable characters are all there. Yes, even Mr. Spock, who died in the last film, but, you know, there's life after death in the movies when your movie's a hit, and Star Trek II was a hit. So, Star Trek III called The Search for Spock. The crew of the Starship Enterprise finds Spock back in their lives when Admiral Kirk walks into Spock's old room, and he hears something that sounds like Spock, but it turns out to be someone else.
Spock went to college.
His old dorm room.
He was going to turn it into a gym/crafting room.
In the steps of Mount Philae. Yeah, but that's on the planet of Vulcan, right? So what goes there? Well, what's happened is that Spock has blended his mind into Bones' body because Spock's spirit is still alive. But before Spock is found, the crew must battle the evil Klingons led by a creep named Krug.
A creep named Krug.
Bring up Bird of Braces. Diving to
Tough times for that crew. They'll survive. And those special effects, that Bird of Prey fighter ship looked particularly good, and I thought it looked real good. That's because it was designed by George Lucas's Star Wars special effects team. I enjoyed Star Trek III, except for one big complaint. Spock does reappear at the end of the film, and that's no surprise. I'm sure I'm not giving anything away to anybody. If they call The Search for Spock, what, they don't find him? Okay. But he's only on the screen for a couple of minutes, and then it's all over. I like Star Trek III, but I felt cheated at the end when the words came up, the adventure continues. I guess we're supposed to believe in Star Trek IV. Well, I wanted to see Star Trek 3.5 right there and then.
Well, of course, the adventure always continues, and Spock, in a way, is on screen the whole time because his ideas and his presence and his memory are very important throughout the movie, so I wasn't cheated by the fact we only saw him at the end. I thought this was a good but not a great Star Trek movie. It wasn't as good as the second one.
I agree.
The first one was kind of a low-budget Star Wars. They had all the special effects. The second one returned to the Star Trek tradition, which is, let's make a movie about ideas and about the nature of humanity and the nature of intelligence.
Right.
This one is kind of a compromise. There's a little bit of that Vulcan philosophy there, and there's also a lot of special effects, including that really good fight in the volcano planet where Kirk takes on the alien commander. So it kind of had a compromise between the first two. It was good, but it wasn't great Star Trek material.
I agree. Absolutely.
Well, okay, that's... Gee, okay, next is...
Well, Gene showed me.
Yeah. Roger was so flummoxed at Gene agreeing with him. He's just like, oh.
You don't want to fight about it?
Yeah.
All right.
Like, do we kiss now? What happens? This has never happened before.
It's like, there could have been more Karen Allen. Is that what you want me to say?
Someday they'll make a movie about penguins, and we'll love it.
We'll love it. So that's about it.
Oh,
Hey, Johnny Freeman, it's your cousin Morgan.
This movie was also reviewed by Ronald Reagan, who got a private screening at the White House.
Okay.
Cool.
Wait, did he write a review?
Reagan wrote of the film, it wasn't too good.
Okay, Ronnie.
Yeah, he made a movie with a chimp.
Reagan wasn't a very good president.
Yeah, if there's one dude whose opinion I don't really care about.
Especially on movies.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, though, he's still an idiot, but he was the head of the Screen Actors Guild.
He was. Yes, he was.
He got to make decisions on people's art.
Yeah.
Ironically, he was head of a union at one point. Like, what the fuck?
The largest in the
What
country.
the fuck, dude? You fucking... Anyways.
Yep.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
No, let's not get in.
Anyways.
Discussions of repercussions of Reaganomics.
Yeah. I'm sure glad we're not feeling any of those still to this day.
Nope.
All right. So, you guys ready to jump into the movie?
Beam me aboard my bird of play.
Ooh, sassy. How's orgy ship?
Can I be beamed off the bird of play?
Yeah.
Just send me to Genesis Planet.
Somebody's fucking a bird. That's
it's not an orgy ship. We have trampolines. We juggle.
That's a general. We juggle. We juggle.
It's kind of like a children's birthday party. Along with the Renaissance Festival.
Padded gymnasium.
Yep. Climbing wall. I got you. Play.
Here we go.
Medieval bouncing castle.
Yeah, of course.
Pardon me for taking it to an adult place immediately.
Here we go. This is Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. We open with a previously on Star Trek sequence.
Did Star Trek the show ever do this? Did we get like a continuation thing where they'd be like earlier on Star Trek?
No. Next gen.
And the next gen did.
Next gen
that just became a television mainstay.
I think only once. Not the Cage, the one that came after it. It was a two-parter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had those.
With
there
Pike,
were
where
to be
they
continued.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Went back to the planet. That's the only
right.
time they would do that.
Yeah, I mean, TV had to be continuous, but the previously ons weren't so much of a thing. It was like if you didn't watch it, I'm sure Dallas. You know what I mean?
Sure. Because the 60s was a lot of self-contained stuff. So unless you were watching like not even Days of Our Lives, I wasn't around yet. General Hospital, it was probably like week to week. You were fine to skip one.
You had to hire people to cut, the previously ons. Mm-hmm. It's not a computer program.
Yeah.
So they're just like, if you didn't remember, fuck you.
Yeah, too bad.
So yeah,
they're so helpful now.
We got 3+ minutes of Star Trek II recap.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Then a credit
just
sequence.
to make you feel something again,
including the Spock saying the speech.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The intro. This is the first movie to have that at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's funny because the movie ends with him having so few lines, and some of them are the lines he said
in the first movie. Yeah. Then we get a credit sequence. Then we see the Enterprise. Kirk does a captain's log, so we're still recapping.
That's his personal log.
We're 5 minutes in and we're still just recapping the last film. Yeah,
Yep.
His personal log.
Yeah, they're still on the trip home, essentially, which makes, as we said off air, makes everyone's new hairdo all the more confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So they all got perms. On the way back from the Genesis planet.
I shouldn't have stopped for that haircut.
Exactly.
That was from the monorail episode, which had Spock in it.
Spock in it.
Had Nimoy in it.
It did.
Oh, that's so funny.
They were limping home on impulse, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so they took a while, so they had time to get perms.
Wait, they're limping home on impulse. Shouldn't that take them decades, if not eons of time?
Yeah. I mean, it should. That's the whole. But also,
shut up.
But also, apparently, they just got rid of the training crew along the way.
Yeah, they dropped them off at whatever hair planet they stopped at.
So they're like, I'm going to live here among the perm people.
They got reassigned. I'm assuming that a bunch of ships came back and forth to the Enterprise to pick up
rendezvous
crew and take them somewhere else.
They're now battle hardened, I guess.
Yeah, but somebody had to drive the jalopy home. You can't just
yeah.
And David and Savick, they got picked up too. They're now working with the Genesis project.
Yeah,
they're. Doesn't he? Did he say that in his log?
He said that David and Savick were sent back to Genesis to
with the most boring sexual tension.
Oh my god. It has the sexual tension of like a broken yo-yo.
Yeah. Is it going to come back up?
No.
Which, honestly, is something that
it is not.
They've really nailed the sexual tension thing with Vulcans now. Instead of
I thought you were going to say between Kirk and Spock. Anyways.
Oh, yes. I mean that too. But I think in the newer Trek series, they especially with Discovery, or not Discovery, what's the other one, Al? With Spock?
Strange New Worlds.
Strange New
Worlds.
They really nail the tension between being a Vulcan and being a human versus this where it's I'm boring and I want to punch stuff.
J.J. Abrams tried to do that too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Those
really work.
Star Trek movies.
But here in this movie, Savik's to David, she's you're too old for me.
But we are on this planet.
We are on this Genesis planet. We may as well.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for a 17-year-old.
She's like, no. Listen, I've got to help this pubescent child with his fingering.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta get him through puberty.
Sorry, David, you're not Ponfari enough for me.
I'm not grooming him. I'm just brushing his hair. What are you talking about?
I'm literally grooming him.
like a great ape. I'm grooming.
Yeah. She's like, yes, you wouldn't want me, David. Vulcan sex is mostly face touching anyway.
So the Enterprise makes it back to Earth. Mr. Scott has been spending his time outfitting the Enterprise with automation so that it can operate it with a skeleton crew. I guess in anticipation of going back out to investigate Genesis. Kirk's like, I'm going alone, guys.
Even without saying anything, he's pretty sassy in this movie. I don't know if you catch James doing. He's either trying to catch himself from laughing or he's looking like this is ridiculous. But in a fun way. He was Scotty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this exchange between Scotty and Kirk where Scotty's like, it's going to take 8 weeks, but you don't have 8 weeks, so I'll have it for you in 2. Have you always
dawns on Kirk? Yeah.
Have you always multiplied your repair estimates by 4?
That's how I maintain my reputation as a miracle worker.
That's right.
This movie brings back, I'm going to use the jerk-ass Homer comparison. This is very much jerk-ass Kirk, where he's like, oh, have you always been like this? And they're like, yeah, dude, we had a whole TV show about it. They're like, where is Spock? He's on the Genesis planet. That's where we left him. No, wait, hold on. I got to go talk to his dad about it. Kirk is dumber than he's ever been in this movie. Like, this is the stupidest I think this character ever gets.
I laughed out loud when the Admiral said, "Your career stands for reason." Like, what?
I know. Andrea said the same thing. Like, when is reasonable Benning Kirk's?
Yeah. Has this guy ever read like a after action report?
No,
from the Enterprise?
think there's a real underlying current of that, like, top brass are idiots. You know, like we said, the Excelsior dude just laying there playing with his little stick. And I'm sorry, Commander Starfleet? Is that his name?
No, it's Commander.
Starfleet Commander.
They call him Commander Starfleet. They do it more than once. Because I noticed. But yeah, there's kind of that theme of like the people running the show are dumb. They're just dumb.
And I guess Kirk is an admiral, so it fits.
I know, but they talk to him like he's a fucking ensign.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so weird.
Yeah. So they make it back to space dock. We get a little Rand cameo.
Yeah. Grace Lee Whitney.
Yeah.
She was in the cafeteria. It was cute because like she gives a little head shake when she sees the damage. It's like, oh, you boys.
Look what you did. Yeah.
Yeoman Rand? Is that what you were saying? Yeah.
Formerly Yeoman Rand.
Formerly, but that's
moved up in rank.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Everybody off screen, they get hairdos and promotions.
Yeah. They see
and pants.
Yeah. They see the fancy new Excelsior, which has its fancy transwarp drive.
What's the like North African collar thing on that ship?
Oh,
it has like a ringed collar between the
going up
the engine
between
and
the body
disc.
and the disc. Yeah, it's very like I thought it looked like like on chairs where they put like the plastic sleeve around the in between like the wheels and the base kind of thing.
Yeah, it was. It was an interesting ship design that I don't think I've seen in anything else Star Trek.
It was the first time they really got into like, wow, we can design new ships.
Mm-hmm.
The Excelsior.
Yeah.
So the Star Trek B, I believe, was an Excelsior class.
It was, yeah.
When they get around to Generations, and in Next Gen, there are a bunch of Excelsior class ships still flying around.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and at that point, they're the old ships because the Galaxy class is the new one, which is what the D is.
Yeah.
And
after the saucer,
that's smooth and shiny like a bald man's head. I don't know. That metaphor started in a weird place, and I never quite got where I was hoping to be. Meanwhile, in deep space, information about the Genesis device is being sold by some sort of low-life guy to a Klingon commander named Krug. Krug? Was it Krug or Kruge? I don't think it matters.
I think it's Krug.
Krug. He's a rude dude, Krug with an attitude.
He's cool but rude.
He's the Bart Simpson of the Klingons.
The Klingon language doesn't have soft sounds like
they're not like the French.
They're not a dandy like Chekhov.
Yeah. So he destroys the ship of the informant, even though his lady friend is on it, and heads off to the Genesis planet.
That's what I'm saying. She should have been like, I have to tell you in person.
It's special information that I can only give to you face to face.
Transmit it. I don't know.
How he destroys it because she knows she's like looked at the data.
Yeah.
Is what she said. So even like if she came over, they'd have to like shove her out the airlock or something. Like for some reason she can't know.
It's more to illustrate Krug's. I get it.
Dickishness.
Yeah,
he's cutthroat,
ruthless. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nobody. This guy's not going to spare anybody. Look what he did to his old lady. This biker means business.
Yeah.
These are space bikers, these Klingons.
Klingons?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, they always were. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Low intelligence brutes whose weapons evolved faster than their fucking education.
Yeah. The bad guys in this were originally supposed to be Romulans. But
See, they're austere.
Yeah, but the execs wanted Klingons because they were more recognizable, and the Romulan they had already designed a Romulan ship, so they were just like, it's a Klingon ship now.
All right.
So
it did match the style of the battle cruisers.
Yeah,
It did.
very well.
Yes, it did.
And
Yeah,
it
it
was
was-
because they had already had the Klingons in the motion picture.
Mhm.
They're like, let's just do Klingons again.
Klingons. All right, cool. Let's go to lunch.
Yeah,
They are way more recognizable to non-Star Trek fans. Than
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
Romulans just look like weird Vulcans. They like that's
Yeah.
that's a hard
Yeah.
sell.
because they are.
Yeah.
And they are. Yeah, and like I said, they're very austere and stoic. You know,
They're just fucking people too, which is not exciting.
Klingon
They don't have
is
any
on the
face
level
bumps.
of Kirk. Kirk is very similar to a Klingon. You just won't admit it.
Yeah.
The
Especially
Romulans
coming in the future.
The Romulans get space bumps later.
A little bit of space bumps on the
The
forehead.
ridges.
But they don't get as
forehead.
much
Yeah.
space bumps as
No.
the Klingons.
Not like the Klingons.
The Klingons are all about that.
What do you mean, you people?
No, it's just, you Klingon bastards like, whoa,
Whoa.
Kirk. Hey.
Oh, he
Whoa.
doesn't just say it once.
Yeah.
That's all he says for the third act of the movie.
Like,
Oh, then later
damn.
on, there's a whole movie that comes back to this and his son. And like,
Yeah.
he's a racist. Kirk
he
is a racist.
Yes, he is. So
I just met that kid. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, we never went space fishing or whatever the fuck you do on weekend
Played-
dad shit.
Like space catch.
Go buy a nalakite and run
Space
around the park.
my space son, my poor space son.
Why do you keep saying space?
Meanwhile, back at the Enterprise, Chekhov reads that a person is in Spock's quarters. Kirk goes down to check it out, finding McCoy. Why does the captain always check out everything?
Everything.
Well, because there's like
dangerous.
4 people on the ship.
Okay, at this point, sure, maybe.
Oh, at this point.
No, but he does get the 2 guys dressed up in the old style football helmets with the
It's true.
Yeah, those weird laser tag guys.
yeah,
Yeah, the security
In-
officer.
In
whatever
this
they
case,
are.
I know why.
sure.
Because
Yeah.
he's going down there with the idea of how dare somebody come in to
Sure,
Spock's quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He finds Dr. McCoy saying weird Vulcan type stuff, sounding like Spock.
He's out of his Vulcan mind at this point.
Yeah.
Or he's into his Vulcan mind.
It's deep in his Vulcan mind.
He's down in it.
Yeah.
Vulcan era.
It's fun. It was a fun spinner. His Vulcan era. Like he's a high school goth or something. It's like those ears aren't real. Take them off. You look ridiculous.
You don't understand me, Captain.
My culture's not your costume.
I love the little like Mick Jagger move you just did. Yeah, McCoy's like, when I graduate, I'm so out of here.
I'm going to party every day, Vulcan style.
I'm gonna eat ice cream for breakfast. Dad.
So to my earlier point, that Kirk is like really missing like context and like the clues for the case here. His friend,
Yeah, it is funny.
who has psychic powers, who is dead, and now his other friend is in his old room and saying cryptic shit about Vulcan. And he goes, wow, man, that's fucking weird. I hope you're not sick or something. Like, hope your brain is okay. Okay, bye.
Yeah, he really doesn't put
have some
two and two together.
tranquilizers.
Yeah. And goes like,
Like,
don't mind
yeah,
if I
for
do.
real.
But then he wouldn't get to
How'd you
have
know?
his moment of like, see, what you want to do is zoom in and enhance.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've got a lot to say about the Enterprise's surveillance camera system.
Well, and it's not zoom in and enhance. It's an even better phrase. What does he say? He says like,
Oh yeah, he doesn't say zoom in and enhance, but yeah, that's
So
what it is.
Augment?
augment.
Augment.
Yeah.
That's
augment
it.
image.
Be like, are we recording all of our surveillance footage on 35 millimeter.
And who installed a camera in the dilithium crystal chamber?
To augment something
Reactor.
is to like add shit to it.
Yeah, make it better.
Right.
It's not to like improve the quality of the thing. It's to add
Who's going to
extra
argue with
shit
him?
to it.
Yeah.
I mean, in the public.
There's like a grammar Nazi on board. Just like, Captain, that's not the right word.
Well, we had no frame of reference.
I will two-hand punch you over the top of your head if you say that
I will
to me
two-hand punch you. That's the most fantastic threat promise I've ever. If you don't get away from me, I will two-hand punch you.
So the bridge crew meets up with Starfleet Commander Morrow, who tells them the ship's going to be decommissioned, despite Kirk's request to just take her out again. You know how that is when you bring your aircraft carrier back and you're like, I just want to go for a cruise with it for a while. Is that cool, guys?
Yeah, let me smash it up.
Well, and it's not like fully functioning yet, too.
Right.
Yeah.
It should be decommissioned.
Yeah, it should be. The crew is ordered not to speak about Genesis due to the political fallout.
Meaning when Peter Gabriel left?
Yeah. They're like, do not say the words Phil Collins to me, ever.
Do not. Don't say it 3 times, he'll appear. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. He's around.
Just from a dark corner. You're in like an old house in the dark corner. You hear, Studio.
You hear, come on.
What do I remember of Genesis? All I remember is a land of confusion.
That's all.
Sweating Reagan.
Puppet Reagan.
Puppet Reagan still gives me nightmares.
Yeah, those were weird.
Yeah, they were. Oof. The commander orders Scotty to the Excelsior to help get it ready for its maiden voyage. Meanwhile, out in space, the Klingons are heading towards the Genesis planet. And
you fool, you absolute imbecile. You had Scotty come aboard to fix your fucking ship?
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
Scotty is...
Why? You have a fully functioning crew of like dozens of engineers on your ship.
Gotta be Scotty.
Yeah. Scotty, you just got in. We really need you to like, shave and a haircut, man. It'd be great if you could just stop in.
But see, that's the cinematic universe opened that up where, he's not just the ace guy on the Enterprise. He gives a once over
to all
any ship. Yeah, like he's the dude.
Yeah. They promote him to captain of engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a captain now too, but only of engineering.
Well, and in the lore, he's always been like exceptional genius. Like he's got the like creative mind around engineering too. He's not just good at fixing stuff. He can improve the better than the sum of its parts kind of guy.
Yeah.
I get it, but also it's just funny where it's like, just got back in. Can you check this out? And he's like, look at this ball of marbles I got from their ship. What a fucking idiot. It's like there's not like a sensor on that thing that's like, the fuel pellets are missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
He bypassed the sensor.
He bypassed it.
I guess he bypassed the sensor. But what the fuck are those engineers doing? I feel like, hey, something seems amiss here. Where'd that Scottish guy go? Wasn't he just here? Did he finish?
Well, that's what I mean. Like nobody would question Mr. Scott.
Yeah.
So
up till now, I guess. After this, I don't think he should be allowed anywhere by himself without like armed guards.
Yeah.
Well, none of them can.
Yeah.
Rules. It's not just Starfleet regulations. If there was a Space Geneva Convention, Kirk has violated it.
Oh yeah, hardcore violated it.
He'd be rotting in the space tank for sure.
Yeah.
They're like, you're just leaving people on planets and not checking on them.
Constantly.
You can't. You gotta check.
You gotta check.
You can keep prisoners of war, but you gotta check them.
Yeah.
Also, that's like the burial thing at sea. Like there's like specific religious traditions for burying a Vulcan, and you're like, nah, man, he was my friend, and I'm gonna cry about it, and we're gonna shoot him into a fucking planet. I don't give a fuck about his last wishes.
He thought it was poetic, but Sarek, drops the bomb on him, which Sarek seems pretty emotional. I don't know, maybe it's me.
Yeah, he seems like he has a lot of emotions happening right now.
Like, you dick.
Yeah.
Derek shows up. He's like, Spock had a living will, asshole.
And exactly. He gave Kirk power of attorney.
wouldn't Savick be like, hey, you guys,
That's a good
I'm
point.
a Vulcan.
Yeah, why
we don't shoot people into planets on Vulcan. We take them back to Vulcan.
I mean,
and bury them under a statue.
We still do it. You know, there are religious specific burial places.
Islam, you're buried before the
not
next
just traditions
sunset kind of thing.
Well, or a Jewish cemetery, or the Hindus, they believe in the pyre and cremation. But yeah, this situation is like the new wife had the body cremated before he even told the kids.
Right. Oh my God! Yeah,
the dad had died.
Oh Lord, yeah.
He didn't even get him cremated. He shot his ass into a planet.
Yeah.
Which
he
is way
essentially
more
did what he did to Khan. Like, well, we'll just see how that goes.
I like the one line of explaining why it didn't burn up on entry into the atmosphere of like, oh, it had gravitational things happening, so it was a soft landing.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, I have no problem believing that it would have made it to the planet, not burned up, because everything in Star Trek crashes to the planet intact.
Yeah.
At every point in Star Trek's history, a thing crashes and it's like, there's no burn marks on that thing. Hell, it didn't even break up on impact.
It was a torpedo shell, so I don't know if that makes it less or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was that they literally put his ass in the torpedo and shot him at a planet.
Yep.
Kirk is the most American fucking thing ever.
Oh God, yeah.
Without talking to his parents who are alive. So
Yes.
yeah, it's an interesting point to make.
So anyways, David and Savick are exploit
It's like saying, well, we're Christians, so we shot him out of a cannon. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're back at Genesis with the only captain in all of Starfleet who follows the rules.
I just want to note this. For my will, you guys can totally shoot me out of a fucking cannon if I die. I would love that.
You
We'll
could
be
stop
talking
me
looking
with the middle
from the
finger.
Genesis planet with a smile on my face.
You could literally throw me in the dump. I don't care.
Garbage.
Besides, I'm leaving my body to math.
Science has got too many bodies.
Science is stuck.
I'm leaving my body to PE.
Kick you around like a ball.
Yeah. We're playing Dodge, man.
Dodge corpse. Yeah.
Dodge. It's already in my instincts to dodge a corpse.
Yeah. So David and Savick are investigating. They get readings of animal life where there should be no animal life, so they convince the captain to let them beam down.
And it's essentially the same as the Spock's quarters.
Yeah.
I'm getting the reading of something that's not supposed to be in this room.
There's a lot of readings in this movie.
There always are. That's fine.
And don't they say like, and we think it's Vulcan? Like the last Vulcan thing you shot at the fucking planet was Spock. I'm pretty sure that they mentioned like a Vulcan life signature at some point.
I don't remember.
Early, like carbon, it's a
remember.
living thing. Maybe when they're on the planet, but it was like, what? Okay.
It's a living thing.
Like, what other Vulcan would it
Carbon.
be besides the one that you shot into the life-creating fucking planet?
Kevin the Vulcan.
Yeah, the fact that they shot a corpse into the life-creating planet
Yeah, I know.
is really
Seems like-
not thought about it enough until
I was
they
going to
find
say,
it.
before they even shot him, I think that conversation had to have happened.
I would love to have
What if he grows? What?
like a philosophical
ridiculous.
conversation between the brass being like, okay, so Kirk, again, he shot Spock's body into the planet where the Genesis device was active. Like,
Right.
why though? Well, he thought it would have been like a poetic, but don't you
That's
have
it.
policies that say that you have to practice? Like, I would have loved just a fly on the wall conversation between two admirals going, but why did he make that choice? Now we have to do all this shit, man.
Be like, why
We're
did he make
still
that
dealing
choice?
with the political fallout?
Do you
that would
remember
have
all the green and
contextualized this
blue alien
so
ladies
well.
he fucked? This dude just does stuff.
He
Why do
just
we keep
does
sending
stuff.
him out? Why is he
That's
still
why,
have
like Thoreau
keys?
said, calling him reasonable is just wild. He does so much without any reason.
Do you remember all the aliens he fought hand to hand on planets with his double karate chop?
Yep. Yeah, he's like, I'm
we're
going
still-
down to fuck around and find out.
We're fixing
time.
relations with the Gorn 30 years later because he hit that one guy with a rock.
Remember when they went to the hallucination planet and like they started following the Mad Hatter and like the
Shore Leave?
Yeah.
I love that episode.
That Mad Hatter costume is the fucking greatest thing
I love Sulu's samurai. No, that's a different episode where he goes crazy.
No, wasn't that the one where he was like the fencer? He was fencing.
That was oh damn it. The one where there was the virus
where he's
and
shirtless,
was like getting drunk.
Yeah,
and he's got samurai swords
or acting drunk. Crap. I'm mixing up my titles now. Because it wasn't a muck time. That was the
Spock
Ponfar.
Heavy.
That was the original Ponfar.
The OG Ponfar.
But they did on the next gen. They did an episode that had the same thing with the space virus that made you act drunk.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's when Data got laid.
Be like, we're going to this frat, and they're gonna Ponfar all over the
all of
place.
us.
Yeah,
that's like rum springing up in here.
Meanwhile, back on Earth, Kirk and the remaining Enterprise crew are in Kirk's apartment having shots of red Kool-Aid when worried about the future of the Enterprise and Dr. McCoy when Spock's dad shows up. He's initially angry with Kirk because he thinks that Spock would have done the Vulcan thing where he puts his essence inside Kirk's body. But Kirk doesn't know what he's talking about. He's like, your son never put anything inside my body.
I swear.
Adamant denial.
Isn't Bones in the room for this conversation?
No, Bones is off.
No, he's on tranquilizers.
Yeah.
That's right. He's been tranquilized. That's right. Good.
So then Sarek does a mind meld with Kirk, learns that they didn't do it, but then they review the very high quality surveillance footage from the Enterprise's engineering deck.
So Sarek was another like from the TV show, right? Like not the character, but that actor even.
The character too.
Mark Leonard.
Yeah. Well, I know the character. But same actor. So it was another thing like Montalban. Like just a little fun little nugget of like,
Yeah, really tying the connectivity together.
Yeah.
So
just a little fun payoff.
Sarek does a mind meld to him, right? Reads his memories. Mm-hmm. Don't you think the first thing, like on his like wheeling it back, if it's like a VHS tape, he would hit the like, you had a weird conversation with Bones in my son's bedroom. We should go talk to Bones.
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Because that sounded like my son, and he was talking about shit that Bones would never know.
But I think it goes back to, you might have said it earlier, but like Kirk is not connecting any dots yet. Not until he has to see the footage.
And maybe
like a grizzled old FBI agent that won't fucking
maybe it's not a play-by-play thing either. Maybe he was just like honing in on one particular moment and passed all the others by. I don't know how.
That's fair.
I don't know how
that's probably works. Disgusting up there.
For real. It's like, Kirk, you spend so much time with your hand in your pants. What's happening?
I was going to say, how do you find the time to masturbate as much as you do?
Not just the green and blue women, but the men too.
I found the shirtless Sulu episode. It's the naked time. It was episode 4, season 1.
Oh wow!
I felt like time. So I felt like time was in the title too. Maybe that's what you were thinking.
So
mock time and
So they see the footage and they see that he actually put his essence inside McCoy's body. So Sarek tells Kirk that they can bring Spock back from the dead, but they need to get his body from the Genesis planet and get it and McCoy back to Vulcan to do a mystical mountain ceremony.
He doesn't say you can bring him back from the dead. They just, to end both their suffering, he needs to take McCoy with his Katra and his body back.
Sure.
Sort of a soul at rest.
But, it's like, we all know. We all know what's really going on here.
We know now.
We know what's really happening.
There's always a Spock body in the Genesis.
It's a cabal of billionaires.
There are Spock bodies in the Genesis cave, enough to last a lifetime if necessary.
Now we can play Dodge Corps.
Back on the Genesis planet, David and Savik find Spock's empty tube and some giant bugs that evolved from bacteria that was attached to the tube.
And his clothes, right? Like neatly folded.
His burial robe.
Yeah. His Krypton-esque little pod.
Yeah. I have so many questions about how his body turned into a baby, but also took off its clothes and folded them
Well, by the time
before
they
leaving the tube.
By the time they find him, he's a kid, so I assume at some point in his quick toddler development, he just like crawled out.
That's
he
fair.
might have gone back to it as well.
Yeah.
He's just wandering around. But yes, there are aging questions. Why does he stop at whatever Nimoy's age?
Well,
I
they
think
got him
because
off
they
the
leave.
planet.
They leave the planet. Is why. Yeah.
That's when they got him off the planet. If Kirk
Yeah.
had been 15 minutes faster, Spock could have come back at age like 25.
Honestly, that's the only thing about this movie that makes sense is why he stops aging and is Leonard Nimoy again. Is because they leave the Genesis planet. Everything up to that point is still confusing to me and hurts my brain when I think about it at all.
Yeah. Back on Earth, Kirk has a meeting with Admiral Morrow to ask him to take the Enterprise back to the Genesis planet to get Spock's body and take it to Vulcan. Commander Morrow rightfully is like, no, dude, you can't do that.
Why did he even fucking ask? He knew the answer was going to be no. We're decommissioning your ship. Why would we say yes? We told you the ship is being decommissioned.
Yeah.
Just steal the ship. He should have just been like, hey, you know me, guys. It's me. It's Captain Kirk. We're stealing the ship.
And
I'm not asking for permission. We're going to apologize and return with Spock's body because that's important.
He jokingly calls it Kobayashi Maru.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, so yeah.
Their
and
code.
he's, yeah.
Their
And
code
he's,
for the
you're right, Brad. I mean, he's all about forgiveness, not permission. So it is a little funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him like having this conversation being like, well, you know, just let me borrow the ship.
Yeah.
You know,
like they're not
just
going to
borrow
let
it.
us. Let's just, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, for exposition, I suppose.
Meanwhile,
I guess things are intentional in movies. I don't know.
yeah, they do them on purpose. Meanwhile, in a sketchy bar, McCoy's trying to charter a ship to the Genesis planet.
Yeah, it's like 10 forward, but sleazy.
Yeah.
10 backward. I don't know.
I always, and the wisecracking waitress who's like, yeah, I assume her name is like Rhonda, but
Blow.
yeah.
Yeah, and the neon beer sign for one particular ale. It just, I don't know. There are a couple of
beer
tribbles.
sign. That beer sign ended up in 10 forward.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it did.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Couple of tribbles on the table.
Yep.
Yeah.
The tribbles.
Were they eating them?
They were just hanging.
They were just
I don't
petting
know.
them.
They were like, look at these guys. This isn't going to go badly.
Haven't they seen Trouble with Tribbles or heard of that
Apparently
story?
not.
Because
Yeah.
yikes, I
Well,
had
I
trouble
think, and
growing
then
up.
McCoy kind of gives it a look.
That's the only piece
You have
of
no
Star Trek
idea.
merch I've ever had is a little Tribble. It's probably still sitting in Yuma in my house.
The trouble? The tribbles.
So he can't. The alien he's talking to won't do it because it's banned. Genesis planet is off limits. But he's overheard by Starfleet security, who take him away, believing he's having a mental breakdown.
So if
Take
you're
him
trying
away,
to charter
fellas.
a clandestine trip and you're talking to one of these like outlaw pirate types, the dude keeps coming back to like regulation. Well, you can't go there. It's like, that's why I'm talking to you. I'm not booking a flight. I'm talking to you.
Yeah, if I wasn't,
It's like, stop trying to talk me out of what you do.
I mean, he literally does say that's why I'm trying to get an illegal.
Right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like Han telling Obi-Wan, being like, no, sorry, dude. I smuggle stuff, but sorry.
But that's
It's
against the
I don't-
rules. Yeah.
Like,
But it's not even a code of ethics. Like, yeah, he's coming from that place. Not like, I don't smuggle people, you know, like it's not some code of honor. It's like, whoa, you want me to illegally take you somewhere that we can't go?
Be like, what do you think I'm in this dive bar for, bro?
What business do you think I am?
Yeah.
So you're an Uber then, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I love how McCoy tries the nerve pinch on the security guy.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
instinctively.
the
Mhm.
laugh from that was really satisfying because the look on his face of him being like, what the fuck? What the? Hold on. It'll work. Give it a second.
Kirk finds out about McCoy being detained, and he and Sulu break him out of the facility he's being held in. Sulu gets his biggest moment in the movies yet when he takes down the big guard who's a jerk
Yeah.
with the 80s jerk mustache.
And the leather half cape.
Yeah.
Just unnecessarily a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I
The-
thought,
And Sulu fucks him up.
Dude
He fucks
yawns.
that dude up.
Yeah, he does.
Dude yawns, and Sulu says, "They keeping you busy?" And he like has to stand up all menacingly.
Flex, yeah.
Be like, I'm an
this is
80s
just
bully.
word banter.
Look, yeah. Scotty leaves the Excelsior where he's been working, saying goodbye to the blowhard, stuffy captain of the ship. And then
Up your shaft.
Yeah. And then the crew meets with Uhura, who has been working in a backwater transporter room with a young, fresh, out of the academy, ready for adventure kid.
Yeah, this is boring. She's like, we could get perms.
That's what we do after every adventure. We stop for a post-adventure perm.
We get our hair did.
It's like Starfleet has like a style guide. They're like, sorry guys, new fashion is in. It's perm season.
Yeah. Are you feeling worn out from work? Just lower a flap.
So they make him sit in the closet. They beam aboard the Enterprise. She tells them she'll be meeting them at the rendezvous point. The crew takes the Enterprise and begins to leave space dock. There's the whole sequence where they're trying to get the doors open, and then the Excelsior is being sent after them.
This is my favorite sequence in the whole movie, is them backing the Enterprise out the door. And like, you know, like you're driving a car, you back it out and then you make a 2-point turn kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just fun to watch the ship move like a boat instead of move like a big spaceship, you know, that because having the context of a thing around it that's not moving, because usually we get two ships that are kind of like drifting, moving past each other. This was very much stationary. We have two objects moving. It was really, 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 really well done.
Yeah.
It was something that I always appreciate a detail in Galaxy Quest. Like when he like scrapes it against the dock. It's like you forget in space that objects can collide. It just seems like there's infinite space around anything.
It seems really silly because the tension in that moment, Kirk is like, you know, quarter impulse. Make sure we're getting out of here. Everybody's kind of like sweating a little bit because this is the most dangerous thing you can do with a starship is be inside another starship with other starships around you. Like if they crash wrong, they could kill thousands of people, probably tens of thousands of people.
Oh yeah.
And another good Scotty and Kirk moment. It's like Kirk's just like, now Scotty. It's like, yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah, I feel you, dog.
I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm doing my best.
But yeah, I love it. It's like, you know, back in the day, sneaking out of your house and like you can't turn the car on. You have to pop it in neutral and everybody pushes it away from the so you're not noticed.
Yeah.
Now turn it on.
So yeah, the Excelsior is primed to follow after they go into warp, but it stalls in space. We learned that Mr. Scott sabotaged it when he was working on the engines.
The noises it makes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Where are those
Star Wars
coming from or going to?
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, back on Genesis in the snow desert part, Saavik and David find the Vulcan child. It's Spock, but he's got an empty brain because he put himself inside McCoy back in Wrath of Khan.
And because he's a kid. They also have empty brains.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. He has had no contact with another living thing too, and they're very social creatures, children.
Yes.
I love that he's born with understanding of the Vulcan language.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is not how language works.
At all. No.
Oh, wow. Your kid speaks Spanish.
I would say, though, I think it's fascinating because the Vulcans are so logical. That's their like instinctual thing is their logic or whatever. I could see that.
Oh, yeah. It's not a hang up.
I could see that being an evolutionary development of ourselves, you know, 100 million years down the line. All of a sudden, English is the thing that every child is born with or something.
He doesn't talk English, until the very end. And
she talks to him, though.
She talks to him, but he's giving mostly blank stares at her.
Fair enough. Again, kid.
Well, and also she's like, you're going to have a 7-year itch and you're going to be so fucking horny. It's going to hurt, dude. And he's like,
you're just going to want to touch fingers to everything.
You're going to want to finger everything.
Yeah.
Just silly for it.
So the Klingons arrive just then, and they accidentally destroy the science vessel, stranding Saavik and David on the planet.
Goodbye, Captain Esteban.
We barely knew you, the one rule-following captain.
We barely knew you.
All of Star Trek. Yeah.
Did you guys notice the pink chairs on the what was the name of that ship? Sorry.
The I don't know.
Grissom.
The
Grissom.
The Barbie.
Yeah.
Oh, the Grissom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had pink chairs.
It's nice.
They stood out.
It's like the Hello Kitty subway that Japan has.
Does the captain get to choose the interior decoration of his ship?
I'm sure Doogie dad, the dude who walked around with a flute or whatever, I'm sure he has his hands in decorating.
His whacking stick. Yeah. So the Klingons send a landing party down to the planet to find them. David tells Saavik that he used unstable protomatter in constructing the Genesis device. It's a substance that is illegal and banned, and it's real bad. Don't do it.
Is that the red stuff from JJ's stuff? His Star Trek movies? The red goop that they drop on Vulcan and black hole collapse it?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think they called it red matter is what they called it in the movie. But I wonder if that is similar to this.
Maybe.
There's a couple of things that are outlawed in Star Trek. Proto matter, that red matter stuff.
Romulan ale.
Romulan ale.
Yeah.
It's funny, the list. Like when you start thinking about it, like you banned nuclear fuel, but we can make it. We can find it.
I guess that's kind of how laws work.
Instead of ban it.
You know, you're not allowed to make a bomb, but you can make a bomb.
Yeah, sure.
Well, but the Starfleet approach is just like, no, that's just illegal. And it's like, well, yeah, but that doesn't really stop it from existing, you guys. You're just kind of making it like.
I mean, Brian, you remember marijuana.
I guess movies need to happen.
You remember marijuana,
true.
Brian.
But
That's what I mean.
good,
Oh, but do I remember? No, I don't.
but I mean, good on good on Harv, because they didn't even have to throw that in to help explain.
Yeah.
How something came from nothing. So it works.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you threw this extra mixture in to make sure that biological life.
Right. And it's also the reason why it's all collapsing and doesn't really work, and why we won't ever have to think about the Genesis planet ever again after this movie.
Ever again. Yeah, exactly.
Thank God, man.
Yeah.
Thank God.
David said he threw it in to get the Genesis project up and running on time or something. It's like it would have taken like years more if he hadn't used the proto matter, but still not thinking ahead. He changed the rules.
He did just like his dad. Yep. So the Klingons find the big bugs, which have now evolved into like some larva things, which Krug unnecessarily squeezes one to death.
Don't they say that those are like bacteria?
Yeah,
microbes was the word that they used.
They evolved from microbes on,
which is why
on the tube.
Yeah,
when they shot
the
it.
tube.
Oh, they're on the tube. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Never mind. So then the sun sets and Saavik and David find a cave. Saavik tells David that soon Spock is going to be super horny. Meanwhile, the crew of the Enterprise...
get ready. Hide your hearts, girls. Spock is coming.
It's going to happen, dude. You want to hide your finger. Keep your hands in your pockets. So.
Well, it's important I think it's important to tell David because he has a lot in common with his father.
Yeah.
Like, I know you, and Spock's about to be really horny. Keep your fucking hands to yourself, pal.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is not a competition. I'm not into either of you.
Yeah.
I just got to help this dude.
That. Kirk's son is like, oh shit, there's competition. I need to kiss this lady.
I got to fuck something.
It's going to be you or a snow cactus. So.
Or an amoeba.
An extra curvy piece of wood.
Yeah.
Extra curvy. No medium curvy for me.
No. It's all the way. I want my wood to be banging.
Up to 11.
Yeah. So, yeah, they... on the way to Genesis, the crew of the Enterprise gets worried because they overhear Starfleet trying to contact the Grissom with no response. Back on Genesis, the planet starts having earthquakes right as Spock gets horny. Then Saavik does some pretty heavy finger work on him, and he feels better.
Robin Curtis showed up years later. She was not Saavik in The Next Gen, but she did portray Saavik on a couple of, I don't know, independent Star Trek series.
On a few
the fan films.
She played.
I think so.
She played Saavik in CSI.
Because she's willing to do finger nudity.
But the story continued, and it actually became semi-canon that Saavik got pregnant with Spock's
God
child.
Damn it!
So
with
more
the finger
happened
stuff.
More happened than what we see on scene.
Or it was the
on
finger
camera.
stuff.
I assume it's the finger stuff because that's how they have sex, right? Or
they finger.
They like finger each other's faces and they transfer like psychic energy.
We've said finger a lot.
They don't have more traditional sex after the.
I don't think they need
finger stuff.
I think it's all finger stuff.
Yeah, that feels like foreplay to me too.
It's all finger stuff. All the time. Anyways,
you're just accidentally having sex with people just in Vulcan society.
No, what they make humans, it must be like, you shake hands? That's disgusting.
God, ew.
It's like slapping dicks when you say hi to somebody.
Oh my God, American.
Hey man, been a while.
For that
Zip,
to be.
slap, 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 slap.
Yeah, exactly. Like kissing on the cheek's gay, but sword fighting is the way to go.
Right.
Think of all the unique ways that you can. It's like a secret handshake. Sorry,
because arguments would be ended pretty quickly.
Time
Look at
together.
you, a little weird.
So there were two series I didn't see in 2016, Starship Excelsior, and then 2024, 765874.
that's the gay one. You got to watch that one. That's the one with Darth Maul playing Kirk.
That's the one with Tommy Two-Tone, right? 8693786.
It's what do they call it? Reunification. It's that number and then reunification, right, Al? We should do.
That's a terrible name for a show. That should have failed.
Yeah, that is a
No,
terrible
it's like
name for a
it's
show.
like a 15 second or 15 seconds. It's like a 15-minute short about Kirk and Spock being reunified, and it's super gay. Like the gay tension is like the icing on the whole 15-minute episode. I haven't seen it. All I've seen are pictures, and it's just two dudes in makeup and CGI because they did like a really good job making it look like Kirk and Spock. Like really, like better than Star Wars. Uncanny Valley stuff is gone because most of it's makeup, but the whole time the gazes into each other's eyes are just like, put your hands on my face. Let's slap dicks right now. Like it's crazy.
Yes, you're right. 765874 unification.
I honestly, I think it would be fun to watch it and do it for the Patreon, just because it's supposedly very controversial. But Sam Witwer, that's the guy who played Darth Maul in all of the animated stuff.
Okay.
So he's a big Star Wars guy. But yeah, he was, the story behind it is really cool because he was like, I don't want to do that. And they started to explain to him more and more. And he was like, no, I do actually. That sounds really cool. I get to be Kirk.
Yeah, it sounds like a captivating story.
Yeah, he's like, and I get to be like controversial
Like
with
every
Spock.
Harrison Ford decision. No, I don't want to do that. All right, I'll do that.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they got. I don't think they got paid for it or anything because it's Star Trek fan shit. You know, we'll see. Well, I would love to do it because I haven't seen it yet, and I'm fascinated by the whole idea.
I assume Vulcan penises are corkscrewed like ducks.
Yeah.
Doesn't Superman have a hook on his dick too?
Oh,
It's got to have some alien weirdness.
it's like the Audrey 2. But anyways.
And that's
Bulbous?
why in the future humans greet each other by slapping dicks so we can tell if
That's
you're
right.
an alien or not.
That's how. It's a dead giveaway.
So, yeah, the Enterprise arrives, and Krug is told about that. Krug. The first they capture David and Saavik. He wants the Genesis. They're like, it's not good. You can't have it. And he's like, give it to me anyway. And then he's told that the Enterprise is there, so he goes back to his ship. He has a cloak. The Enterprise is able to attack him, though, because Kirk is that good.
Yep.
So the answer to cloaking is a camera.
The answer to cloaking is to look really carefully.
Is to use the
Do your
window
eyes
on the
like
fucking
this.
bridge.
Yeah.
Like instead of the view screen, they're like, oh, turn off the view screen. Let's just look out the window and see if we can see our enemy.
Yeah.
No, it's the age-old tactic of walking into a room and just spraying bullets back and forth.
Yeah,
I know you're hiding in here. I'm not looking for you.
I have so many questions about this space battle because shields, you can't shoot while your shields are on now.
No,
I don't know why they didn't raise the shields right away on the Enterprise, but
because they didn't.
You
want
can't
them
have
to know.
You can't have shields when you're cloaked.
Yeah.
You can't fire when you're cloaked.
That I know.
Well,
The
I
Enterprise,
thought you couldn't fire with shields on.
Yeah, you
couldn't not torpedoes at least, or
you can't transport with shields up.
That I know. I swore that it was that way before. I swore there was even dialogue, but maybe it was retconned later. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
But it just, this seemed really confusing to me because there are a lot of like things that they had to kind of set up for it to be dramatic. And I'm like, all right, okay. Why don't you guys
just like a multiverse, the
now.
excuse is it took a lot of damage and there was no time to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
so anything
running on
that's not
automation.
quite working, anything not quite working. Textbook.
Well, we get that
explained.
from Scotty quite a few times where he's like, it's on automation. I'm only doing what I can.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Scotty says at this point, like, I wasn't expecting us to go into battle.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry,
we coasted it. We coasted in on fumes, and they weren't even going to refuel it because it was going to be junk.
Yeah.
This isn't even a full complement. This isn't even a partial complement. This isn't even a skeleton crew. They're just running the ship with a bridge crew. There's nobody at their
A dude had to
stations
get
anywhere.
into our dilithium crystal chamber to get us going again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know how far away engineering is? And it takes like 12 people to make that happen.
Yeah.
Seriously.
This is 5 dudes on the bridge.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Krug is
the best ones.
Yep.
I'm glad we follow these guys.
Yeah. I wonder why we do. It's lucky. Yeah.
It's lucky.
Yeah.
What if we were with Doogie's dad on the Excelsior only?
That movie would suck.
Yeah, that Star Trek movie would have been boring as hell, man. Motion picture all over again.
I'm going to play Hot Cross Buns on my recorder.
While I wave my stick at you.
Yeah. Then you can shake a stick at. Who's out here shaking sticks?
Krug is able to disable the Enterprise, and then he orders one of the hostages killed. It's David that gets killed. He's defending Savick.
This is the first Klingon knife that we see.
Oh, yeah, one of those.
Not a battle axe.
Just the knife that clicks out the 2 side pieces, the 2 side blades.
Yeah.
It's the first time we see that.
So
bikers.
Yeah, bikers.
Does
a
David
switchblade.
Does David die on accident? Because it kind of seems like it kind of happened on accident. It doesn't seem like the guy's like, this is what you get. You die. Blah. He's like, oops. Well.
No, I mean, he had him down. He had the knife. He was trying to kill him.
And it creates a blood feud that goes on and on for Kirk.
But the stabbing itself was like obscured by bushes. So it to me, just the way that it was like shot and blocked seemed like they were like, whoops, oh fuck. Well, we
like,
killed the one
Kirk
guy.
tried to help him.
You know,
No.
like
they were told to kill one person. Krug didn't care who.
Yeah.
Those Klingon bastards.
You killed my son, you Klingon bastards. The wrong son died. So they pretend to surrender, but they activate the self-destruct and then manage to beam themselves down right as the Klingon boarding party beams on. It blows up, killing everybody on all the Klingons on the ship.
There was a self-destruct episode in the original series, and they're actually using the same codes in this one.
Interesting.
Nice. I love that shit.
They
and still the 3-person. It takes 3 people to do it. Like they got rid of that later. I think in Picard.
Yeah.
Because it takes two to make a thing go right.
It does. It only takes two to make it out of sight.
Mm-hmm.
So
from Space Doc.
Remember when Space Rob Base?
Space Rob Base came to get down?
Yeah.
Rob Space. It was right in front of us.
They defeat the Klingons that are on the planet when they beam down, freeing Spock and Saavik. Spock, meanwhile, is going full Nimoy.
Sorry, to jump back a little bit. When David gets killed and Shatner falls down trying to sit in his seat, it's such an amazing piece of acting.
Yeah.
Like, you believe him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He is the best overactor to ever overact.
To ever live.
God,
yeah.
No
real.
one chews scenery like Shatner. No one.
And there are times when it comes off as camp, but man, when it fucking hits.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not always.
In the beginning of the movie, he was the most human. Like, that shit works.
Yeah, it
all
does.
of it. Like taking Genesis. Who's taking Genesis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, take a breath.
Yeah.
Relax for a second, bro. You're stressing yourself out.
These are thoughts out loud. Now I'm talking to you again.
Spock is getting Nimoyed. Kirk calls Krug and tells him he'll tell him the secret of Genesis, but he's got to come down there.
Nimoyed? Is that him?
It was Peter Gabriel.
He's Nimoying himself.
Yeah. He's Werewolf of London.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Oh, fun fact, I missed it. Back when we were hearing the wails of Spock in the distance, that was Frank Welker.
Oh,
wow, Scooby-Doo himself.
Yeah, he was doing Spock voices.
When you said the Spock's whales, I was thinking the voyage home.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
His whales.
I liked. My favorite part was when Spock was like, "Right room, Kirk." The Genesis. So they beam the rest of the crew to the Klingon ship. Then Genesis is blowing up while Kirk and Krug fight. Kirk manages. They have the big thing where Kirk stomps him off of the cliff, and Krug falls to his death into the exploding lava-ness of.
And he becomes Darth Vader.
Yeah, Darth Krug. They beam back to. Kirk pretends to be Krug to get himself beamed back up to the ship. And then and John Larroquette gets taken by surprise. They set course for Vulcan. They get to Vulcan where they find Uhura and Sarek. They go to a mountain where there's a special mountain ceremony where Spock's Katra is reunited with his body. The procedure's called Fall Torpan.
Was this the rendezvous that Uhura mentioned?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I understand cultural ceremony, but it doesn't seem logical.
It really does not seem logical.
It really does not seem logical. Yeah. Yeah. But the ceremony works. Spock gets respocked. McCoy gets despocked. And
despocked.
One was respocked, one was despocked.
I guess there was a novelization that gave a lot more story to Uhura. Like, how did she get here? She had to. So she's on space dock, and
first she had to get over to the bus station.
Oh, yeah. But she had to flee
to
she had to flee to the Vulcan embassy, and Sarek. Then Sarek took her to Vulcan.
That kind of makes sense, because if she was left behind, they could have imprisoned her as collaborator.
She's left behind with Mr. Adventure in the closet, and she's got to get out of there.
Yeah, because she's gonna get arrested. Because she just.
He's like, I've never been with a black woman before.
She's like,
that's adventurous.
So after the ceremony, Spock stops and talks to Kirk, calls him Jim, recognizes the crew. They're all happy. They've been reunited. Credits rolled. And that is...
Great little movie.
Yep, that is Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock.
And the adventure continues.
And the adventure continues, yep.
Since I mentioned Frank Welker, I found this spot again. With all the kids that were playing young Spock, and Frank Welker providing Spock's screams, Steve Blaylock doubling for Nimoy. Total of 7 actors contributed to the role of Spock.
Jesus.
That's pretty cool, actually.
That is cool. I
That
like
many
that.
stages along the way. I never would have guessed that there were that many people involved. I would have thought 3 max, besides Nimoy.
Yeah, Welker doing ADR.
Yeah. Weird that they had him doing it instead of just Nimoy being like, I can do that. I'm here all day.
Well, it was Nimoy's decision. He was the director.
Yeah, it was.
It's like my cries are just they're not dramatic enough.
Get me Scooby-Doo.
Get me Scooby-Doo.
He's all, get me Scooby-Doo. So, I'm going to use the plot device Chekhov's ear.
Yeah, so Search for Spock. Unanswered questions?
No. It does what it says it was going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I contend that they really weren't looking for him. They knew right where he was. But nonetheless.
Oh, but he did manage to stumble out of his casket.
That's right. No, the actual search for Spock was about 20 minutes in the middle where they just had to walk over the
It was
hill.
David and Savick.
Yeah.
It's literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
The search for his soul, the search for his essence.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, metaphorically, the search for Spock makes a lot of sense.
Come on, dude.
Final thoughts on this one.
It felt more like an episode of the original series than either of the other 2 movies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of...
I mean, I can see that, yeah.
This one, I mean, yeah. This one, because 2, 3, and 4 really flow into each other. You can't have one without the other. It's not like a self-contained adventure, so it really felt episodic.
Yeah. Not in any criticism kind of way. It just felt like, we were coming back to a thing instead of the other ones where it kind of felt like, whoa, where are we re-entering this at? Mm-hmm. It was cool having this feel as smooth as it is.
I feel like this episode gets a bad rap. As far as what was it? All the odd-numbered Star Trek movies
are bad, and all the evens are good. Yeah, I don't agree with that per se. I think this is a good, fun popcorn 80s adventure movie.
It has the right
hand combat
of the odd numbers.
Spider-Man action.
They say
what's that?
I think that is this the strongest of the odd numbered Trek movies? I think that this definitely.
I think so. I don't hate 5, but I think it's stronger than 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has the right amount of action, has the right amount of interpersonal relationships, friendships, and whatnot.
The pacing is fine.
Mutiny.
The right amount of finger banging. Yeah.
Yep. Definitely the right amount.
That's what you're into.
But you're right. I mean, if they had dragged it out anymore, then the search, quote unquote search, would have been ridiculous. But it was very economical. They went to where they were going. They dealt with it.
And it certainly wasn't too little finger banging, if that's what you're worried about, Brian.
That's what you're worried
Never enough.
about. There's enough. Maybe if you haven't reached the limit, but.
So yeah, Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock. I think that's time to thumb our opinions.
The finger thumbs.
Yeah, well, let's finger bang our opinions.
I give it 2 sexy Vulcan fingers up.
Josh going up for this one. Brian.
Oh, my fingers are going up.
Way
Question is where?
Ooh.
Way up.
With a vengeance.
Al.
You're muted.
And thumbs and fingers up.
Oh.
This is a comfort
Hands
movie.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Full hands up. Wait, I'm sorry. How many fingers am I holding up?
Oh, hey.
That's not very damn funny.
A full fist. All the way up.
A blood fist.
Well, it's gonna be a blood fist if you don't.
It's gonna be.
If you don't take care. I also am going up, of course. I don't think there was any doubt. So, all right. That is it for Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. Means next time on Harmless Phosphorescence, we will be watching Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home.
Hello, computer.
The Voyage Home. That is next time on Harmless Phosphorescence. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Until then, this has been your host, Thoreau Smiley, and I have had enough of you.
Josh Cece, and let's mind melt. I didn't have a tag.
I'm Brian Lesh, and do we still unzip to say goodbye?
I'm Alaric Weber. Kill you later.
It's like aloha,
Nerds.
Brian. The dick slap is for goodbye and hello.
And hello.
Universal greeting. And
Yeah.
you Klingon bastards. You didn't even
It's
unzip
just how
me.
vigorously you slap.
You didn't even slap dicks or finger bang me, you Klingon bastards.
You Klingon bastard.
Cultureless swine.
We'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye.